There is one question that haunts every conversation about AI in our industry. We dance around it. We use polite words like efficiency and optimization. But the question is, will this replace us? If you look at the headlines, the answer is terrifying. But if you look at the data, the answer is much more complicated and frankly, much more exciting. Welcome to a special edition of the podcast. We are building the AI First Org Chart. We are going to move past the fear and give you the structural blueprint for how humans and AI will actually work together. We start with the man who is building the technology, breaking down why this wave of AI is different from anything we've seen before. Welcome to the Property Management Framebreakers podcast. I'm your host, Pablo Gonzalez, and I am here to introduce you to the folks in the property management space that have broken the frame of what you may believe was possible. This podcast is presented by Vendoroo. It is your all-in-one AI solution for resolving your maintenance needs. Let's go.
The moment when something's so new and people will piggyback off what is going to clickbait versus like what is actually going on, you realize, oh my God, this is so much worth it to like just dig deep 3 layers in and understand what's going on. I think the biggest differentiator is that, it's not being an AI expert, actually. It's being a human expert. You need to break down a human before you could train an AI on how it needs to operate. You have to break down, if you want to build a humanoid agent, and you want it to sound like a human, well, you lose reciprocity if you don't have a human interaction. The moment people realize it's a bot potentially that's doing this, that fundamentally changes the interaction that people have with that, which fundamentally adds friction to the cycle, which fundamentally means that you bring humans back in and then it breaks down the whole thing. But do you know that that's an AI? Well, you do know it's an AI, right? And yeah. So this is the standard that we can go to. Like, can you get to a point where it's really hard to tell that it's an AI? Mm-hmm. And I think that will fundamentally break things.
That will fundamentally break things. Reza isn't talking about breaking your business. He's talking about breaking the constraints of the old model. But to understand where we are going, we have to look at where we've been. We have seen a shift like this before. A decade ago, the industry was terrified that remote team members would destroy the quality of service. Now, they are the industry standard. Berube is the foremost expert on this evolution. He argues that AI isn't a replacement for the human team. It is simply the next logical step in the evolution of the org chart.
First off, I wouldn't recommend that any business owner does a deep dive on AI. For me, I'm passionate about it because I'm highly interested in efficiency and profitability. You can only be more profitable by either increasing your income or reducing your expenses, right? You have to create leverage. So there's 2 major ways to create leverage. One of those is with your labor costs. So we're really looking at efficiencies. Essentially, every company has an org chart, and org charts are changing, and they will continue to change and evolve as the new iteration of single-family property management, just evolves. Where 1.0 was your local team, right? And then 2.0 is the implementation of remote team members. And now 3.0 is utilizing AI agents. Not just AI tools, but actual AI agents that operate as just a regular team member. The days of a maintenance coordinator being able to handle 300 doors, you can have a remote team member that's managing 1,200 doors because you have AI within your company implemented correctly.
1.0 was local, 2.0 was remote, 3.0 was AI. But what does that 3.0 org chart actually look like? If AI is handling the tasks, what are the humans doing? And how do we structure a company where bots and people aren't competing, but collaborating? To answer that, we have to look at the new org chart of the future.
This idea of like re-engineering your org chart to have these skill sets and being fully dedicated to going from a task management org chart to a trust building org chart. The sooner you start pointing your energy in that direction, the better that you are going to do over the next 1, 2, 3, 10 years. What's very clear to me is that the ability to do tasks is going to become an absolute commodity. It's not going to be a moat. She would have a community builder, somebody that is a local touch point, that is, managing vendor relationships and client relationships and bringing people together and being seen. She would have a educator / marketer kind of person, a storyteller that would be in charge of, getting the message out of what they're doing. And she would have somebody that is a specialist in hard conversations, right? Like highly emotionally intelligent person that can bring calm to a tense moment. And everything else would be AI and technology, done by AI and technology.
A community builder, a storyteller, a specialist in hard conversations. Everything else is technology. This is a radical shift. But how do you actually get there? You can't just fire everyone and hire an AI tomorrow. You have to build it. You have to train it. And most importantly, you have to manage it. Bill Davy, the industry's first AI czar, breaks down the practical, on-the-ground reality of managing a digital teammate.
Well, it goes back to the idea that, the vendor is the last hire we'll make. Like I didn't look at it as a computer program. I looked at it as an employee. Like I am managing Vendoroo. I had to not think of it as this digital creation, but rather as a human being. The first 2 weeks, like I was like an overprotective dad, very much hands-on, looking at like paying attention to every work order that came in and seeing what was being like how it was being triaged. I wasn't looking at it as it's this AI program that's going to take care of everything for me. It's somebody that needed to be trained and taught and shown things. And that's what happened at the 2-week window. I no longer need to drive the car for Vendoroo. Vendoroo needs to start driving the car, and I need to watch and just keep my eyes on the wheel.
And that brings us back to the question we started with, will this replace you? The answer is no. It will not replace you, but it will replace the version of you that is stuck in the weeds. It will replace the version of you that is drowning in tasks you were never meant to do. The replacement myth is dead. The era of the AI-first org chart is here. The car is running. The AI is driving. The only question left is, do you have the courage to let go of the wheel and finally start deciding where you want to go?